Hello, welcome in, and welcome back. Welcome, Brett, to the show.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. Glad you could join again. Thank you for those of you who continue to listen and build our listener base. We are the loyal sons of the great state of Iowa, the mighty Midwest, the Iowa State Cyclones, the Iowa Hawkeyes, Nebraska Cornhuskers, everything that encompasses anything on all sides of the Missouri River, and in some cases over to the Mississippi. And as always, the best conference in all of college sports, the mighty Big 12 Conference. And that is not to throw any shade towards the Big 10, because you guys are doing good too. All right, folks, we are going to apologize ahead of time. This is going to be a shorter review and preview of last week's games and looking at this week's games, as we have a special guest joining us. Angus Quigley, who is a former running back / linebacker for the Kansas Jayhawks, is joining us to be discussing this week's upcoming game between the Iowa State Cyclones and Kansas, taking place in Ames. Angus is going to talk with us about his experience playing at KU back in a time in Kansas football history that not many have been able to see. A dream season that ended on a note maybe they didn't want to see. The 07-08 team, which those of you that know Big 12 history, or even if you don't, that was the team that came out of nowhere and had a legendary run all the way up to number 2 in the nation before being tripped up one game out of the Big 12 championship, and then still ended up pulling off a hell of a victory in the FedEx Orange Bowl over Va-Tech. Angus was on those teams.
Excited.
It's going to be great. Angus was on a team with some absolute animals that ended up not only being successful in college, but successful in the NFL, and played against some absolute animals as well. But we'll save that for when Angus joins us. Before we get rolling, as far as listening to the show, checking us out on Spotify, checking us out on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. And also on social media, you can find us on TikTok. You can find us on X. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at The Loyal Sons Podcast. So you just have to search The Loyal Sons Podcast, and you can find us on any of those platforms. And Brett, you have something else you want to add to that?
Yeah, they should probably smash that like button and follow button, and then just put us on like repeat. Just listen to us all day.
Right. I agree. I think it would be very beneficial. It's good for their health.
Hey, I do it. I just like hearing myself talk, though.
Oh, do you? See,
Yeah,
I hate hearing myself talk. I had a radio career, and I hate hearing myself talk.
See, that's why I talk in my sleep. I just love hearing myself talk, and I think everyone else should love it, too.
It's a good point. If you don't feel that people should love it, who is going to feel that they should love it, right?
Exactly.
All right. Before we get into football, our basketball teams across all 3 schools that we cover have had one hell of a start to their seasons. Iowa State men's basketball so far kicking it off. They are 4-0. Huge games coming up versus number 13 St. John's, number 23 Creighton. Apologize if the rankings are outdated. Creighton may not be ranked anymore, but they'll be playing St. John's and Creighton at least next week in the Players Era tournament in Vegas, and also an upcoming game against currently number 1 Purdue. Purdue is on the ropes right now versus Memphis. Iowa's men's basketball team 4-0 starting off, big win over Xavier. And Nebraska's men's basketball team 4-0 starting off, also big win over Oklahoma. We always like it when we see that the SEC teams take a hit. So good job, Huskers. As far as women's basketball goes, number 12 women's basketball team, the Cyclones women's basketball team, starting out 5-0. Audi Crooks, 43 points in 20 minutes, just record-breaking versus Valparaiso. The Hawkeyes, number 19 women's basketball team. Good to see them in the rankings. They're hanging in there, still playing tough without old CC off doing her thing. 4-0, and Nebraska, their women's basketball team, also 4-0. Had a big win recently over Creighton. So all teams off to a hot start. We're going to continue to cover basketball as football season winds down. Unfortunately for all 3 of us, not a lot of hope for playoff contention. So we're going to be mainly covering us till the bowls, and then, well, we'll be doing off-season stuff. So let's get into it. Only one game for us really to recap from our 3 main teams that we cover. And that was the Iowa Hawkeyes being taken down by the USC Trojans. And an overall just sloppy, rainy game on the West Coast. I mean, trust me, if you watch the game, all they talked about was, it's not really rainy like this out in Los Angeles. We don't know what's going on.
Man, I thought that played right into Iowa's hands.
Uh-huh.
I was like, let it rain like you're at the club. Just like keep it going. And no way USC can get through this.
Right. I 100% agree. I thought that was going to, but with Iowa, they can pass efficiently. They're not an explosive play passing offense, but the way that their passing offense has worked thus far as they've gotten in their groove, I felt that played right into their hands. They were going to be able to rely on that enough to open up their running game a little bit. And let's face it, USC, for having this amazing passing offense just recently, the receivers haven't been able to catch a damn thing. Well, they were able to catch something when it mattered. Mostly Micaiah Lemon. One receiver that stood out. Maava to Micaiah Lemon connection was really the difference in the game. Lemon himself had 10 receptions for 153 yards and a touchdown. The other thing that really played into this is that Iowa just stopped scoring after halftime. Even though they really weren't putting up points, you just kind of had this feeling like, okay, Iowa's got them beat. They're going to grind this. It's going to be a typical boring end of the game, right? Problem was USC did just enough to pull ahead towards the very end of the game and take the lead. And then the key drive really comes down to that final drive where Gronowski throws a pass to Weegan, and it's obviously, it depends on who you're asking. There's a lot of people that said Weegan made an unnecessary, he jumped unnecessarily, and his toe touched out of bounds. There's other people that say that was not out of bounds. Regardless, as it was called in the field, Weegan steps out of bounds, that kills the drive, end of story. We're not going to jump a bunch into this game because we've got a lot to move on to, but let's not pour salt in the wound. I know as an Iowa State fan, Husker fans, Hawk fans, we all share in this. We know the scenario. Playoffs are out. It's now bowl season. So you win out and you see where you go from there. The only thing I would note is, yes, after the first half, as Iowa looked like they had it in hand, they, again, did not score, and USC scored on every single drive but one. It's like, man, that's frustrating.
Man, when Iowa jumped up 14-0 and it was raining, I'm like, Iowa is winning this, and it's going to be the unders.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Might be the 14-0. Yeah.
And then USC scored. And I'm like, okay, maybe not. And then Iowa came back and scored. I'm like, Iowa's got this.
Well, moving on to the Big 12 review or recap of last week. So I'm just going to go through some scores here. We're not going to really get into detail on these. And then there's two that we'll discuss a bit here. So Utah just dominates, absolutely dominates Baylor from start to finish. And no questions asked. I mean, it was every aspect of the game. They were just, every time you looked up at the screen, Utah was on a breakaway for a long play towards the end zone, whether it be a pass, whether it be a run, whether it be the quarterback, whether it be the running back, whether it be a receiver. Don't need to go into that much. Texas Tech, sitting there at now number 5 of the nation, blows out UCF, a.k.a. Central. I think this was very much expected. So one thing that stands out for this game is that Texas Tech has a linebacker, Rodriguez, that is on everybody's radar now, I think. Anybody who's watched Texas Tech play at all. This guy gets put in at quarterback because Joey McGuire's like, you know what? If we heard you've heard you have to play quarterback to win the Heisman. So they give him the ball at quarterback and they have him go in, score a touchdown. And Rodriguez does exactly what he should do, strikes a Heisman pose. Interesting stat, Brett. Rodriguez himself now has more forced turnovers than 5 top 10 teams.
Really?
Yes. There are 4 or 5 teams. I think it's 4 teams in the top 10, 1 through 4, I think it is. I just saw it the other day. I can't remember exactly. Then there's Rodriguez, and then there's the rest of the top 10. So he himself has more forced turnovers than 5 top 10 teams. It just
how can you not vote for him for the Heisman?
Insane.
Like,
insane,
no one else is standing up.
Yeah. No. BYU gets back on track, just kicks the everything crap of TCU out in Provo, making our win not seem as glorious, but, hey, we'll take them where we can get them.
They did not rally.
No, not at all. Kansas State squeaks by in Stillwater. Nice job, Pokes. You almost
could have been there.
Don't
With the tarps off.
Don't start. Arizona takes down number 25 Cincinnati. And boy, that was a big one for the Big 12 race.
Skyline Chili just let me down again.
And it was such a tough game, but Arizona, they played tough, man. Fafita was on one, dude. Fafita 23 of 31 for 294 yards. They had 3 running backs that were just gashing that defense. 181 yards total and 2 touchdowns for all 3 of them. Sorsby was just out of his element again. 15 to 28. He had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. So Cincinnati's defense actually sure brought some pressure. The problem is they just, I don't know how to say it. And watching the game, it was almost confusing. They had 3 sacks and 9 tackles for loss, but they just weren't making plays when it counted. Regardless, Arizona pulls off the upset. Now, one of our favorite teams in the Big 12 almost pulled off another one. The West Virginia Mountaineers. Arizona State had to sneak by them. And I'll tell you what, it came down to the final drive. West Virginia was driving on them. Scotty Fox, the 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th string quarterback, whatever it is for West Virginia, that dude was 19 of 31 for 353 yards. 353 yards. 2 touchdowns and an interception. They had 3 receivers with nearly 80 yards, so his pass distribution was insane. F. Sims, though, this guy, for being a journeyman quarterback, continues to be Arizona State's offense. Passing, he had 270 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then in rushing, 17 carries for 81 yards. Yeah, the key to the game was really ASU kicks a field goal to take the lead. Arizona State, I should say, kicks a field goal to take a lead. West Virginia's driving and then throws a pick on the last drive of the game. So, West Virginia fans, sorry, y'all damn near pulled one out. Arizona State, I don't know. You can say they maybe needed this to stay alive in the dim hopes of a Big 12 championship berth, because crazy thing is they're actually not completely eliminated.
No, we saw last year.
And we will get into that right now. So hopping into what is to come for our beloved 3, we'll start out with our Herky and Herbie corner. So Nebraska sitting at 7-3, 4-3 in conference. Y'all, for losing Raiola, and I know it was some tough news this week, the Dayton Raiola, Dylan's brother, decommitted from Nebraska, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the Raiola family there, but they have to go to Penn State and play a Penn State team that has given some people some fits, and that is at 6 p.m. on NBC. Penn State is actually a 9.5-point favorite, Brett. And,
that's a tough one.
This is a Penn State team that gave Indiana everything they could handle. So,
it's home. It's night. It's going to be dark. That place is crazy. Just lost a commit. And then what are the rumors that the older Raiola is looking to transfer out also?
You talking about Dylan?
Which the Patrick Mahomes lookalike?
That's Dylan, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's rumors. Nothing's been confirmed. He's been radio silent on that, but
it's Facebook. That's true, right?
I will say that when your little brother decommits, it's usually not a good sign. Nebraska's got some continuity at quarterback, so we don't know.
This one I'm going with my heart. Like, I want Nebraska to win. Like, I've always liked Matt Rule. I think they go up to Happy Valley and beat them. And
okay, I don't know. I think this is going to come down to the wire. It's in Happy Valley. I could see Penn State eking this one out, not by 9.5 points, but by a last-second field goal, something like that. Sorry, Nebraska fans, nothing against you. It's just this team is playing so damn inspired, and they've been so close. So we'll move on. Michigan State, which has been relatively lifeless. I believe they're 3-7. I think they're 0-7 in conference. They're going to Kinnick, and they're playing an Iowa team that the Iowa Hawkeyes right now can go one of 2 directions. They can be just down in the dumps because, let's face it, their hopes for the playoff are gone, or they could be very pissed off. I see this as a team that doesn't crumble because of these things, and they get motivated. They're inspired. They're a 16.5-point favorite over Michigan State. I see them winning this game relatively easy.
Oh, very easy. Yeah. They're not going to have the setback against USC, and they're going to come in and it's going to be an easy win for them.
I agree. That is at 2:30 on FS1. We have back-to-back Cyclone Hawkeye coverage on FS1 this weekend on Saturday. So kick it off with Iowa State at 11, and then we go from Ames to Kinnick. So let's give them a good day on FS1. All right, hopping into the Big 12. At noon on TNT, Baylor plays Arizona. Baylor getting throttled last week. Arizona pulling off the upset. Zona is a 6.5 point favorite in this one. I'm going to take Arizona on this one. I think they're going to win this one and cover.
So I got this feeling this week, like I was out walking and the wind blew, like teams can get bowl eligible. And that's my feeling. Well, Baylor wins to become bowl eligible. They beat Arizona.
It's a good point. All right. Well, we'll see what happens in that game. K-State traveling out to Utah to take on the number 12 Utah Utes. And that is, again, 3 p.m. on ESPN2. Utah is a 17.5 point favorite. Kansas State is that team that you can't figure them out one week to the next. I'll tell you this much. Utah is a team that is out for blood right now because they know they need to win out to keep themselves in a Big 12 title race. And there is another game we'll talk about here soon where if it goes one direction, we've got a whole shit show on our hands for who gets that second spot in Arlington. But a 17.5 point favorite, I don't know. I could see Utah. I see Utah winning this, but well, you know what? I'll say that. They just killed Baylor. No, I could see them covering.
So you put Beatty in a corner. I was really hoping you wouldn't jump to this game after how I picked the Baylor Arizona game because it shoots holes in my whole argument of bowl eligibility. Yeah. So yeah, Utah's going to piss pound them.
All right. DCU, the team that just for some reason after 1 week fell off a cliff. Boy, we know how that feels. They are traveling down to Houston to play number 23 Houston. Houston still as well, if there's a certain game goes a certain way, is in that weird tiebreaker mix for Arlington. Houston is a 1.5 point favorite. This is a 3 p.m. game on Fox. As much as I would love to put my faith on TCU, I can't. After them losing to us, seeing Hoover just play not terrible, but just not up to his standards, and knowing what Houston can do and how scrappy they are, I see Houston winning this one.
I really want to go with TCU. So I think they're good. And I'm very disappointed in Houston, said, hey, they're going to the Big 12 and they just pissed that down their legs. Can I pick?
Sure. No, you can't. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
Shame on you. I hate ties.
I'm going to touch the electric fence again and go with TCU.
All right. Okay. The rest of the games we're just not going to pick. So other than one, Oklahoma State goes down to the bounce house. UCF's a 14.5 point favorite. Next, Arizona State going to Boulder.
Next.
And yeah. And now Arizona State does have to win to keep their name in the mix for a potential Big 12 tiebreaker. I don't see the shit show that is Colorado putting up a fight. Arizona State somehow is a 7.5 point favorite. I think the faith is maybe not out there as much in Jeff Sims. I see Arizona State handling this fairly well.
Easily. No question.
Agreed. All right. The game we do want to talk about, number 11 BYU, 9-1, 6-1 in conference. Only flaw in their record is one complete ass whooping out in Lubbock. It's going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, who was just upset by Arizona, is now holding on for life in the Big 12 standings. BYU is a 2.5 point favorite. Now, if Cincinnati pulls this off, Brett, and the other two loss teams win this week, we're sitting at 5 teams with 2 losses in the Big 12. In Cincinnati, Arizona State, Houston, Utah, and BYU. That's if Cincinnati wins. BYU plays so fundamentally sound. I say this after just getting their asses kicked in Lubbock. But again, as we talked about last week, no other team in the conference is Texas Tech. I don't see Cincinnati, if they couldn't stop Arizona, being able to stop BYU.
Late game in Cincinnati. I
7 p.m. on Fox.
Rolling again with the Skyline chili and spaghetti. I'm taking Cincinnati.
Okay. I'm putting my money on BYU. You're putting it on Cincy. If you are right, sir, we have one hell of an episode next week to talk about who in the hell is going to fight their way. And that tiebreaker, I'm sure that there are 2 or 3 scenarios which are just cut and dry. I'm not digging into them tonight. It's a mess. Now, the game of the weekend for us, that we are going to be talking with Angus about here shortly. Kansas travels to Ames, and this is a game of two teams who at the beginning of the season had very high hopes and have played below expectations. Some of it is due to injury. Some of it is just due to certain aspects of their game, defensively or offensively, just not panning out the way it is. And we're not necessarily going to get into picks or analysis of this game. And up next, we're going to welcome Angus Quigley to the show, former KU running back and linebacker, and we'll get into it with him. So we have a very special guest and friend joining us here on the Loyal Sons podcast, Angus Quigley, our local Jayhawk, former Jayhawk, however you want to say it. Angus, thank you for joining us, man. Brett and I are super pumped to have you joining us as well. So, just this being the week of the Iowa State-Kansas game, this is one thing that has remained throughout the Big 8, Big 12, 10 teams being in the 12 or in the Big 12. 16 teams being in the Big 12 has been Iowa State and Kansas. Now, whether that be football or basketball, the two teams have just never, the face-off has never been broken. And again, thank you so much for joining us, man. You're a former running back and linebacker for the Jayhawks. Yeah, so just tell us a little bit about yourself, Angus.
Kid, man, born and raised in Texas, man. Never thought I'd end up in Kansas, man, at all. I don't think I knew about Kansas was Dorothy and the Wicked Witch. So that's as much as I knew about Kansas, man. So long story short, man, I had some things happen in my academics at my high school. I was signed to go to Texas my junior year out of high school. So, I'm a Texas kid. That's where I planned to go. I mean, that was it. So shoot off a lot of big schools, A&Ms, the Oklahomas, all that stuff, man. I'm a Texas kid, all in, Longhorn guy. That was me. That's where I wanted to go. So when I signed my junior year, I was super proud of that accomplishment, but, that's why I tell kids now, keep up on your academics and, parents get involved and make sure these counselors are, doing right by your kids. Cleveland, Texas, man, not a whole lot of people are coming out of there and going to college, man. Counselors just kind of put me in some classes to just keep me eligible, and I'm thinking I'm passing my classes and all that. And come to find out the classes I'm taking, I'm behind for like clearinghouse to have a scholarship. I'm going to graduate. But as far as like actually being able to academically qualify for, colleges, no. So my senior year was rough, man. I took my regular classes and I took another like 6-8 classes on a computer just to make sure that, all those classes and courses that I missed. So Texas is Texas. And I ended up getting my scholarship pulled my senior year. And in reference, didn't think I was going to be able to, complete all that and qualify, and still had the tax test to pass. Texas had that state mandated test. So, and it was after the test was after signing day. So they were like, you don't think you're going to graduate. So, we're going to have to pull your scholarship. Gotcha. So ended up, which is a funny story, I hated OU, but I was so pissed about the situation. OU and Texas used to be at my practices together on opposite sidelines in high school. I had the opportunity right after Texas decides to pull my scholarship. Here comes OU. And my head coach at the time, Mickey Finley, actually, his son was Joe John Finley, who's the offensive coordinator there now, was playing tight end for Oklahoma. So I would see him at practice all the time. His oldest son, Clint Finley, had went to OU as a safety and was playing for the Chiefs. So I was around OU guys.
I remember Finley.
Like, yep, they were like, dude, you gotta, hey, this is the right place, F Texas. So I jumped on that board like, you're right, F Texas. OU takes me to the Texas OU game. What an experience. When I'm over there wearing that crimson or whatever that color is, and I'm horns down because I'm pissed. My childhood dream is now like gone. So I'm like, yeah, I'm all OU. But I was a huge Adrian Peterson fan.
What a time to be at OU.
Yep. So I take my visit, and I'm in there with AP. So I get to, I'm talking to him, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I mean, this dude's like,
I had no idea that you were visiting and standing there right alongside the legend AP, man.
Dude, massive. I mean, dude, massive.
Just a house.
I mean, I just remember them slinging iron, man. Like, they're in the weight room just
and you're a big guy, too. So for you to say he's massive.
Well, see, that was the funny part. So I go in, and I want to see him on screen. I mean, dude's ripped up. Man, he's like a Greek statue. So, man, I go in, and I'm okay, well, I'm taller than he is. okay, so maybe I am bigger. I'm like, this makes a lot more sense now because that's exactly who I want to be like. Like, love the guy. So I go in and I'm like, cool, got it, man. So come to find out, obviously OU doesn't know about this academic situation yet. So they go in talking to Stoops, all that. And, I'm just sure that I'm going there. And same thing happens. So that's how Kansas gets involved because Mark Mangino, my head coach at Kansas, was the offensive coordinator for Stoops.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's how
There's the connection.
Stoops was like, hey, man, listen, dude, you're a phenomenal talent, man. I don't like, what happened to you. It's not your fault, but I know, Kansas isn't really that good football program, so they can pull a few more strings and, get away with it. The next thing I know, here comes Mark Mangino calling me, and I'm like, all right, I don't know anything about Kansas, never took a visit. They were like, dude, they literally told me, he was like, hey, man, listen, we probably would have done called you, but we saw who you were committed to, who you were talking to, and we knew we didn't have a shot. But I hear you're in a little bit of a situation. We want to offer you. I'm like, full ride? They're like, yeah, full ride, man. Everything Texas and OU promised. We can wiggle a little bit here with the administration and academics. So we'd love to have you. So I just signed, man. Honestly, because
how could you not, right?
You didn't visit Lawrence first?
No, I'd never been. Never been to Lawrence. I didn't even know where Lawrence was. I didn't know what the weather was like. I didn't know anything.
You were coming from the DFW area up to the wheat fields of central Kansas.
Dude. So I remember driving in, man, and my mom driving me up. Back then, we don't have cell phones and stuff. My mom had like a prepaid phone. And we're driving up there, man, using freaking MapQuest and a highlighter to get all the way up to Kansas, man. And I just remember being like, dude, are we lost? I mean, just flatlands, man. Flatlands and wind. So we get to Lawrence, man, June 5th, 2005. And like I said, I've never visited this town. So we get in there at night, and me being me, I see the guy recruiting me, Coach Bowen, who was a KU. So he played there, he ended up being coach. So my brother, he's driving. So Coach Bowen, we get to the dorms. Coach Bowen, he gets out, and he's shorter than me. And he's not my blood brother, so we look nothing alike. So he gets out, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm just going to stay in the car and see if he really notices. So he gets out, and I mean, you could tell Coach Bowen's like freaking out, but he doesn't want to say it and be wrong. He's like, Angus? And we're just like, he's like, yeah. And he's just like, oh man, he's like kind of looking him up and down. He's just like, he's got long hair and stuff. And then, so I finally get out and come around. He's just like, oh, thank goodness. But anyway, so I get there, man. And at that time, man, we were still, my freshman summer is when we transferred to Adidas and went to our real colors now. We were still, the year before, they were still in the navy and crimson Nike colors. And if you remember back in like 2004, we used to wear navy.
The fact that was the connection that got you up there.
I tell people all the time, man, it's literally a single call connection. And like I said, man, Kansas had me on a wish list, and Stoops was like, dude, I just call Mangino, man. I don't like what's happening to you. Him and the guy who recruited me at OU was Coach Gundy. Love that guy, man.
The Coach Gundy?
Not Oklahoma State. There's another Coach Gundy. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're related or not, but great dude, man. I remember we went and played at OU. I think it was 2009, and he grabbed me and he remembered me and he was like, man, I'm so proud of you, man. It's like, I'm happy to see you're still here and you got the opportunity. A lot of great folks I ended up meeting at on my visit up there at OU and their football camp. Yeah, my school was just absolutely terrible. I mean, they even tried, like, after I went to the OU camp, they had me, like, I had to talk to, like, the school board because somebody's parents were like, hey, he's a kid that they don't have much money. How's he paying for the OU camp? How did he get to the OU camp? We know their situation. And, how would he have rented, his pads and all those things when, their lights is usually off? So, yeah, I just remember my coach finally pulls me in and was like, hey, man, listen, my wife works down there. She's overheard some conversations. Listen, the whole summer, you were cutting my grass, cleaning the pool for me, and I just kept the money and, that way we could get you to OU camp, and we're riding with that. So threw that at me before I went in there.
Almost a Reggie Bush situation.
Dude, it just didn't make sense, though, man.
You weren't even allowed to have a job if you were playing Division One.
Dude, but see, that's the thing. You were allowed to have jobs, but they sucked ass. I remember my freshman year, like, that's the thing. You could make like minimum wage, which is why you saw people back then getting in trouble, selling jerseys, doing all that crap because, one, you needed the money. Most of us came from nothing. Because I remember even the Orange Bowl, I still have it, and it's funny, but I still don't know why this was a bowl gift. But when we won the Orange Bowl, we got a Sony DVD surround system. Now I'm sitting back, thinking about it like, I don't understand why that was the gift from the Orange Bowl, but okay.
What the hell am I going to hook this up to?
I mean, back then it was pretty cool. I mean, we all had them in our dorm rooms, we had a little subwoofer and, it was pretty cool. But I remember we all were like, dude, I already have a DVD player with speakers. You know what? And some of the guys were like, you know what? I'm going to go sell it because Best Buy back then would buy that stuff back. Brand new in the box, buy it back. So I remember like 10 guys took it back, and then they came and told us how much money they got. We were like, shoot, I'm about to sell mine too. Immediately, like right before we were going to do it, we get a text message, team meeting. And we're like, whoa, okay, all right. So we'll go to the team meeting. Mangino just stands up there and he says, I'm just going to say this, and I'm just going to leave it at this. And I'm not going to tell you how I have this information. He's like, but if any of you are planning to sell your DVD players or take them to Best Buy, just understand that is a NCAA violation, and it could be grounds for removal from the team. And he looked around. He was like, "Men, do I make myself clear?" And we were like, "Yes, sir." Man, those dudes drove out of there so fast to go get that thing back from Best Buy. But, man, I just remember, like, and now you got guys making, like, millions of dollars, man. I said, dude, I think about it all the time. Like, dude, my name is Angus. I'm in the Midwest. Dude, I could have been in so many Dillon's commercials and steak commercials. But, dude, we were making, like, our summer check, my first couple years. In the summertime, you get half the check. So if you stayed on campus, dude, that check was, like $420. Yeah. Maybe. It was rough. Yeah. I mean, rough.
I'll tell you, if you played for Iowa State right now, boy, there's, we got a linebacker named Caleb Bacon. Man, he's being used for all sorts of different meat producers, all sorts of different ag, just because of his last day. If you were up there, man, like, they'd be having a heyday with you.
No point. Like, in Kansas, like, dude, my name's Angus, man. Like, where's the beef? The beef, bro. It'd be a great time. Like I said, all those Dillons and Checkers, all those commercials. Come by and grab our choice Angus steaks. You can trust me. I'm Angus too. Like I'm ready.
Be at the Kansas City Royal and just talking about the Angus brisket. Be an official food taster.
Even work. Man, it'd be great. Perfect.
So you were on, Angus, in the years that you were at KU, some of the most, as you mentioned, the Orange Bowl team. And in all of KU football history, anybody who was a fan of any Big 12 school, played for any Big 12 school / previously Big 8 school, that year, everybody remembers that Kansas team. And, I even, what I was doing for work at that point, it's funny because at that point in time in my career, I was working with a KU fan, a diehard KU fan. And this guy, obviously he talked about basketball a lot, but he didn't talk about football much. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we start having discussions about football. And he's talking about Aqib Talib, he's talking, you had some freaking studs on this team, man. And
it's wild. And I tell people all the time, I say, it's interesting. It was like it's happened to be like just a good blend. Those two recruiting classes I can vividly remember, man, because we would take during camp. Man, I remember being like, man, that year we were all like super excited because we always take pictures by state on media day. Right. And I just remember, man, like, dude, we were so deep from Texas. We were talking crap to the Kansas boys and all them. And man, we were like, dude, this is a Texas team. And I remember just like looking, and it was just like this mix. Man, just did a great job of grabbing people and using them elsewhere. People don't understand. Kerry Meyer came in as my class's quarterback. He was a quarterback.
That's right.
He was our only quarterback signing in my class. We came in together. Aqib Talib came in as a safety.
Mm-hmm. Ended up being one of the best corners and a hell of a corner in the NFL.
Yep. And then I tell everybody, people don't even know our left tackle, Anthony Collins, they ended up going to Cincinnati Bengals. Dude, he was a 1-star DN out of Texas.
No kidding.
Mangino got him there and was like, dude, you suck at DN. You're not playing together. Like, he used to talk about it all the time. He's like, dude, he's like, man, Mangino told me to my face that I'm absolutely trash at DN. He just needed to get me here in my body. He's like, man, I really thought I was doing something. He's like, dude, he told me I was sucked at defensive end. Boom, stick him in there at freaking tackle, and he's a hoss, man. So, like, I just think about it all the time. There was Sal Capra came in. He didn't play Orange Bowl year, but he's one of the linemen. He came in as a out of shape linebacker guard.
I mean, it's a great place to put a guy that can move that's just a little heavier, you know? Guard, you need him to pull, and you need him to knock somebody's ass holding around the end. Perfect.
Physical, man. And I tell people all the time, man, I said, even B-Mac, the starting running back, Brandon McAnderson.
Yeah. He was a senior that year, wasn't he?
Yep. I remember going into that season, me and him talk about it all the time. He said, dude, I honestly thought that year that all I was going to be doing was blocking for you. And he was like, so thanks, man, for getting that high ankle sprain early in camp. He was like, dude, because he was a fullback. The whole time I was there, he was
a big boy.
And then Jake Sharp was small.
Yeah, I was going to say, you had kind of a double-headed monster there in the backfield that year. Because Sharp
that was the plan. B-Mac would come in, block, lead. Sharp, me and Sharp 1 and 2, because Sharp didn't even expect to play. We talk about it all the time. He's like, dude, honestly, I thought I'd just be like he did with B-Mac. I get injured, B-Mac goes in and just crushes it. So I mean, because I remember I didn't actually play for it was game that year. Man, my ankle was tore up, man.
I was going to say, a high ankle sprain is such a nagging injury, too. Well, in your defense, too, he ended up having, from a yardage situation. Yeah, he had the bulk of the carries. I think didn't he have 1,200 yards that season?
Yep. I mean, he had 70% of the carries. And I mean, I didn't know he had that in him. Like, he was not a burner, but dude was so smart, man. And I learned that as the year went on, and I'm like, dude, at some point he's got to come back down to earth. It was never about just talent. Like, I'm there on talent, speed, physical. B-Mac could draw every blocking scheme on every play we ran for all the linemen. So he understood exactly what the linemen were going to do, who was combo blocking, who's back blocking, who's pulling, where the linebacker, and he understood defenses. He could draw them up. Because he played linebacker in high school. I mean, he knew where D linemen were supposed to be, what gaps they were playing. B-Mac was absolutely brilliant, and it makes sense why he had the success. And he was so patient to be what you would think is just an absolute bruiser. No, super patient, super smart, knew the blocking scheme. And then, boom, you come in, you throw in old little Jake Sharp, Mr. 4-3 there, and, you got you quite the backfield. So I come back, and I was like, well, it's like I'll be playing special teams, guys.
Well, and you guys had a hell of a passing game. I mean, Reason could really sling the freaking rock, man.
Should have never got out of Texas.
Good Lord.
And you're talking about Gatorade Player of the Year in Texas.
Was he really that year, his senior year?
Yes, out of Lake Travis. They breed, he went to Lake Travis. Yeah. And because he happened to be 5'9", you could say 5'10", it's bullshit. Dude's 5'9". I used to stand beside him in the pocket. 5'9".
Well, I mean, there was a particular quarterback that came out of Austin Westlake that was also happened to be somewhere around 5'9", 5'10". That he might have gone to the NFL and had a hell of a career in Mr. Breeze.
Yeah, I mean, and that Orange Bowl year, I remember they would talk to some of the Texas coaches. And, Mac Brown at the time, he even spoke about Todd, and he was like, yeah, we might have overlooked him. You think?
No shit.
Dude, absolute gunslinger. That was I call it the perfect storm, man. You get guys like me who are supposed to be, starting at, running back. I mean, here we are playing special teams. So what do? Boom, number one kickoff coverage in the, in the country. We got all these supplemental pieces. Like, I remember my boy Brown. I mean, him and Desmond Briscoe, I mean, they're going at it in camp.
That's a name that I was looking up the roster from the years you were playing, and when Briscoe popped up, I'm like, that's one I remember very well.
Absolute dog out of Cedar Hill. Yep. I mean, dude wasn't a burner, but man, there wasn't a catch that dude couldn't make.
He was a hell, he was mainly a slot receiver, wasn't he?
Yep. So he was outside.
Was he outside? Okay.
So Carey was the slot. So
That's right.
Carey leads in all-time receptions. Briscoe leads in all-time yards, and ain't nobody finna pass that guy. Tell you right now. And he could have played another year. He left his junior year.
Yeah, he could catch up and over the defender easily. Like if it was a 50-50 ball, he was coming down with it.
It was his. You're talking.
The problem is he had to
6'3".
make a lot of those.
Yeah, and he was good at it. He went to Tampa, I think like 4th round or something like that. Problem with it is when you get there, you've got to be willing. It's the NFL, man. Like you shouldn't be. Whatever they ask you to do, just do it, bro.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to play special teams.
Boy.
Not his thing, because he didn't do it at Kansas. All he did at Kansas, he did kickoff return. Because I was the off return, and I used to just block like hell for the dude. I used to tell him all the time, like, dude, I don't trust you. Block it. You're a freaking receiver. I'm gonna just bump up another 10 yards here and just stand in the middle of the field. Just go catch the ball, bro. Like, you're not about to get me killed. Like, we literally would have these conversations. Like, dude, I am not. I've seen you block, bro. So, like, I remember playing at South Florida, man. And dude, just late in the game, man, it's like 4th and it's 3rd. Yeah, like 3rd and 12. They hand it off to me. I get through ankle tackle, and somebody just tries to ear hole me. I'm like, where did this dude come from? So I end up breaking that tackle and running for like another 10. I look at the film. It's Briscoe, his guy. If he just touches his guy, I score a touchdown. It's Briscoe's. It's Briscoe's guy that tackles me. No, don't forget whiffed. He didn't leave the line. He just stood at the line like, yeah, we ain't going to pick this first down up. I'm like, I don't know where this guy came from. I remember playing against Missouri. It started snowing. Like, let's go get it. It's like video game type stuff, man. One of my favorite games ever. It was cold. It hadn't been snowing. Crowds roaring. I think Missouri is up like 3 at the time. It's going crazy. Packed house, sold out, man. And then it just starts snowing. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is college football, man. Absolute chills.
I'm glad you bring that game up, man. So that was the thing, is like, you guys were on a tear that year, and Missouri had been around for a bit. They had already established themselves as a Big 12 contender for a couple of years there. They were always giving Nebraska a run for the Big 12 North. There was them and Colorado, and and then there was Iowa
State here and there.
K-State here and there, and then there was Iowa State and KU were kind of hanging back, and then here you guys come, and everybody outside of Missouri fans that I knew, at least in the college football space, plus just friends of mine, everybody was pulling for KU, and you guys go down to Arrowhead, and dude, I remember even considering getting tickets to go down and watch that game, and it was supposed to be so cold. And this is coming from a guy who I had season tickets to the Chiefs around that time. It was so cold, I wouldn't even drive my ass down there and go in there. I mean,
you're talking to a Texas kid.
I know.
I remember sitting in the hotel room the morning of, and I'm just looking at the window. I mean, it was absolutely just like dreary outside. It was like a rain, sloshy snow. I mean, it was freezing. So we get there, and this is what people don't know about Mangino. Mangino didn't like I remember being in Nebraska, it was like 12 degrees, bro, with like 20 mile an hour wind. Mangino saw us like getting our long sleeve tights and stuff, and he just cusses everybody out. He's just like, we're not going to be soft. Nebraska's not wearing long tights. So he makes us all take them off. We're out here in short sleeves, no tights, no long sleeves, freezing, man. It's absolutely winds howling. So we pump ourselves up. We're like, yeah, man, coach is right. We ain't no bitches, man. We run out of the tunnel for the game, right? The cheerleaders band's playing, blah, blah, blah. We run out, dude. We look over. Nebraska's done hoodwinked us, man.
All wearing hoodies and tights.
Dude, they got tights, sideline coats, heaters, heated benches. They didn't have none of that in warm-ups. They rolled it out when we went in. Like they set us up, bro. Mangino fell for it too.
You did a perfect impression of Mangino's high-pitched voice, by the way.
And there's no going back. We're out here now. The coin toss has been done. I mean, dude, it was so cold. I mean, I'll never forget it. They literally were running those players that don't play or not on special teams because they were huddling at the heater. There's one heater on our sideline. They weren't watching the game. They're huddling, warming up their feet, backs to the field. And Mangino actually sees that on the film. He ran the studs off those dudes' cleats. But man, so we come out for Missouri, man. And I just remember going in, I'm like, dude, this has to be the closest thing to like college
Hell.
Super Bowl. Like I'm talking about like a college Super Bowl. If you go to Kansas and you play that game, you don't sleep in Missouri. Our hotel was in Kansas. It was close to Missouri line as you can get. We stayed in Kansas. We ate in Kansas. We bought gas in Kansas. That's what we do. You go into Missouri, you play fucking football, you go home. We don't give anything to their economy. So we sat there, we drive in and we get into the parking lot, man, dude. There's eggs hitting the bus. I mean, it's epic. I mean, these fans, because we had to go through the Missouri fans first, because I believe they were that year. I don't know if they're the visitor. I can't remember. Either way, we drove to the Missouri fan side first.
I can't remember. One of y'all was number 2, and I think one of y'all was number 3. So I can't remember. Yeah.
We were 2.
Okay.
So we were 2 and they were 3. So we go in. I mean, eggs, buses getting rocked. The cops are coming, because they're just pushing the bus. So we had to pause. Wow. We're in there rocking side to side, man. Like, dude, okay, this is it, man. We have arrived. We are here. And going in, you have all this optimism. I mean, great game plan, man. But we had escaped the whole year. We had escaped the injury bugs. We didn't have crazy depth. We had too deep in some spots, but everything was so top loaded for us from like a linebacker standpoint. Those our twos, that's a big drop off. D lineman, big drop off. Our tackle, that's a big drop off. Obviously, quarterback, big drop off. So what nobody knew that we kept pretty much hitting the week before that game, Todd Reesing, they had fell on his ankle, and he was dealing with a high ankle sprain. Nobody really knew it.
There's people that to this day that don't know that.
Yep. So no one knew it. Todd didn't practice all week. Looked terrible. Limping, obviously, get in there, adrenaline, and we're like, oh, cool. As long as we protect him.
Obviously, his mobility that game was very limited. Yeah, that
very
was
limited.
I mean,
there were no runs, no nothing from Todd. He took sacks that you never saw him taking because he could move. The problem is they had Ziggy Hood on the other side.
Yes.
They are dominant defensive tackle. Our guard, Anthony Collins, who went to the NFL, no one remembers. He missed the last 2 games. We started Matt Darton in his place because he also had a high ankle sprain. We brought him back for the Missouri game, and he's Todd's blind side. The very last play of the game, Todd took that safety. It's our tackle that Ziggy Hood just blew by, and he got him up,
standing still.
He powered his speed and got him up on that tender ankle, made a few moves, went right around and got Todd. So there's that, and then James McClinton, our all-American D tackle, he had a torn meniscus, man, that he'd been playing with for it was just a storm. It was not a good time to have. Even Joe Mortensen was number 8, was starting at linebacker. He was
a hell of a linebacker too.
Torn meniscus.
That's a common thing back then, man. And it was like back then you didn't take time off. I mean, I've still got a torn meniscus from playing back in my days.
There's no such thing.
You don't take time off to get that repaired.
It wasn't the time to have those injuries.
Yeah.
So had we had them earlier in the season, season probably still would have looked a little different. But there were some games, you could have skated by. But having that week, I remember, those dudes were on round-the-clock treatment, man. It was still a good game up till towards the end. I think we ended up losing by 10 or something like that. But, just thinking back, like, man, I would love to play that game, without those injuries at those key spots.
It didn't help, too, that y'all had another Texas quarterback across from you and Chase Daniel.
But that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
Todd loved it. Todd was like, dude, they're 2 undersized quarterbacks, 2 gunslingers. They're savvy, cocky, confident Texas quarterbacks.
Yep.
And we loved it. And the way we looked at it was, we're all from Texas. We're riding with our Texas guy, and, we got his back. It just came down to, man, honestly, they found out about Mortensen's knee, and back then they had 2 tight ends that played in the NFL, Rucker and Alexander. Tough. And they kept
Missouri? Yeah,
and they started putting them on. They started putting them on the field on 3rd downs. So they would pull Joe out, and they just run these out routes.
They did a lot of rollout.
Yep.
And I don't remember if it, the entire game specifically, but I remember Chase was doing a lot of moving.
They picked up 1st down. They converted 1st down after 1st down, and it was the same. These same plays. we would go dime and put a safety on them. And, dude, these dudes are 6'6", man. They're just walling off safeties, man. You got to cover them with a backer. But unless you have backer that can run, play, cover, and Joe and even Mike Rivera was our other linebacker. He ended up playing for the Titans. Mike Rivera was every bit of 260, man. So we had some meatheads. I mean, they were great. Great linebackers, but when you're talking about covering these athletic,
well, and your secondary was busy that entire game too, because Missouri
you got freaking Mac.
You got freaking Macklin.
We're doubling that.
You guys came up against one of the best Missouri teams that they've ever put together.
It was not a good time. It literally left like Joe Mortensen and Mike Rivera like singled up on those tight ends, and then you add in they had Tony Temple at running back, so you add that in, and he was a pass catcher, so it was just wearing us out, man. 6-yard game, 7-yard game. I mean, like I said, as long as when kept tied upright, obviously we're scoring points. We just couldn't get that stop we needed, man. But yeah, man, that KU Missouri game, that 2 versus 3 was at night, man. Prime time. Dude, all the UC, ESPN, man, it was rocking, man.
I remember very well. Game day was there that day.
Yep. I mean, it was absolutely rocking, man. Coming in, it's just not being able to seal the deal. And then it was like, because we get in the locker room and we knew after that, we're like, dude, we're the better team, man. Like, we literally feel that way. Like, but everyone's, you're watching guys barely able to walk out of the locker room, jumping out on one foot. When he goes out, he's got like, his tape job's like 4 inches thick. Like, we're screwed. This dude's not going anywhere. Like, he's not planting out, running or shaking anybody. The stuff that made Todd just like, dang, man. And they had OU the next week. And we knew, we're like, dude, that should be us. And all we have to do is go in and win that game, and we play for the national championship. I mean, it's literally that basic for us. People don't understand that. Like, Kansas is literally that close to playing for a natty. We were number 2 in the BCS poll.
Well, I remember very well. Very well. Y'all hadn't played OU that year either, had you?
Nope. Not at all. But this is the thing. We knew they weren't the typical OU of years past. They had lost like 2 games or something like that. Mm-hmm. But what they weren't good at, they were not good in the pass game for whatever reason. Perfect. Mm-hmm. We were, at the time when we played Missouri, we were either number 1 or number 2 rush defense. That's what OU did well. So we loved that chance. We're like, dude, we weren't going to go, and Missouri goes in there and gives up like almost 400 yards rushing in that game. We know for a fact we're not giving up 400 yards rushing. So we always talk about it, and we all get together like, man, you right there, you that Big 12 championship, you go play for the Natty, period.
And you guys end up going on to the Orange Bowl and playing the Va-Tech Hokies, man.
Yep. Hey, if you knew the amount of like hate mail and that we were getting from Missouri.
No kidding.
Dude, they were sending it to the football complex because they were absolutely pissed. They're like, dude, wait a minute. They're going to the Orange Bowl. And we're like, oh, yeah. I mean, we got selected, man. And people don't know.
What bowl did Missouri end up even going to?
Was it Cotton Bowl.
It was the Cotton Bowl. Okay, yeah.
So they were absolutely pissed. I mean, they're like, how are y'all going to the BCS Bowl game? And we beat you guys. I'm like, hey, man, you shouldn't have got your ass handed to you in the Big 12 championship. That's what cost you. And they saw us. We're at a neutral site, playing primetime game, lost by a score. We're 12-1. You guys are 12-1 too. But BCS back then, you lost last, and how you lost was huge. And they got beat. I think they lost by like 28. I mean, they got
difficult part back then too, which they've tried to fix a little bit now, is if you went to a conference championship and got your ass obliterated, the team that just missed out on the conference championship could jump in. They're talking about that possibly happening again this year.
So that's essentially what happened. They went in there. I mean, it looked bad. You can't go give up 400 yards rushing and just get manhandled.
Right. And well, not to mention, if you're coming against a Va-Tech. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there a certain player on Va-Tech's offense that was a little bit tough to stop in the run?
People forget, man, they had Tyrod Taylor at quarterback.
That's actually who I was referring to.
Dude, man, he was legit, man. That read option, I mean, kind of very serviceable running back. He made it very, very difficult. He tried his hand a few times, and it cost him because Aqib Talib pick-sixed him to end the game. He kept trying that, and Aqib finally jumped one, and I remember he did the Dion into the end zone, and they were absolutely sick. But yeah, man, we went in, and I just remember they used to call us the Fighting Manginos. And
Yep, I remember that.
we just went in there, man, and I just remember them saying, like, 88% underdog. And, man, we took that so personal. We're like, dude, but what people don't understand is, man, Gino, there's no such thing as cutting corners, man. Like, those practices for the bowl game that we had in Miami, I mean, that might as well have been 2 days. I mean,
no shit.
We're
grinding.
And you got to remember, we coming from the Midwest. It's like 20 degrees. Dude, it was like 90-something in Miami, bro. So those practices, I mean, cramping. I'm telling you, we're running after practice like camp. I mean, we're full pads. We're hitting. And, man, Gino doesn't care. He's like, we're not going to lose our edge. We're going to be tough. You guys have been off. The game's not till January. So, you played your last game over a month ago. We played Missouri. And Gino's like, we're not losing our edge. I mean, shoot, we even had, like, the young guys with, like, full-blown scrimmage in Miami. So, that's just
you guys
Gino
came into that game prepared for sure.
Oh, yeah. There wasn't a situation, and it's crazy that you say that, because we knew for a fact that Virginia Tech's line, they always jumped. They had like 10 or 12 offsides penalties from a certain motion or a certain set. So we get in a crucial 4th and 1, and we're just past the 50. I think we're like the 40, 42. And I hear Mangino make that call. And everybody on our sideline says, this is a first down. We've repped it so much. We get in, Ty gets under there. He sets up the motion because they try and time up the motion because they, just in case it's a reverse. So they knock over almost every line. Easy work. That's how prepared. I tell people that's how prepared we were walking to that game, and just the whole game in general, man. I remember just some small things. It wasn't flashy. We didn't even have like a blow up tunnel or anything. We just came out we come out of the locker room. Yeah, we're ranked number 2 in the nation, all that crap. Everyone was all excited. Like, dude, we just walk out of the locker room. We didn't have no smoke. No, we just came out, man.
And Texas high schools don't even come out without one of them big blow up things anymore.
Exactly. So that's the thing. So they didn't tell us anything. So we come out of the locker room, and I just remember Aqib was like, man, y'all know I'm going to the league after this. So he comes out of nowhere into the locker room, and he's got on gray spat. And we're like, great, he's got on gray spat on his cleats. And we're like, at that time we wore those gray pants. So we're all like, where did you get that from? Because we've all got on white spat. And Aqib was like, well, y'all ain't me. That's how you. And I'll never forget that. And we're all kind of like, this dude's got a good point.
This is a big stage.
Dude's got a pretty good point here. I mean, this dude's gonna go. We know he's going first round.
Yeah. What are they gonna do? Suspend me?
I mean, and he knows it. He knows it 100%. Because Mangino didn't like anything out of order. Everyone's in white spat. That's it. Some guys, if you didn't play, Mangino was like, bro, you're not on the spat list. You don't get spatted. Don't even go in there. Just wear your cleats, and that's it. You don't deserve to get spatted. You had to earn it. So we go in, we're getting spatted. Never forget this. Mangino comes in, and everybody just freezes because Aqib's in the middle of the floor talking, and Mangino freezes. He looks, and he says, he says, Aqib, come here. And we're sitting there like, oh, hell, see what Jim did. Here we go. And he's just like, he says, that looks pretty good, Aqib. He says, you know what? And we're like,
Mangino impression is hilarious.
We are absolutely shocked, man. Like, we're looking around, and he's like, you know what? I like that. He says, and then Murphy Grant was our trainer at the time. So he says, hey, Murph, you got any more of that great tape? And we're like, and he was like, yeah, it's out in the trailer, coach. He's like, go grab all the rolls we've got. Get these guys all spatted in gray. That right there is like this, like, adrenaline shot from heaven. We're all like, gray spat, colored spat. So we all get spatted up, man, and we're living high on the horse, man. We're all juiced up. So we get out. We come out down the hall, and again, we just used to walking out of the locker room and just going on the field. We come out, man. They've got this big-ass Jayhawk blow-up tunnel thing. We run out, man, because no one told us. We get down there, and they're like, 3, 2, 1. We just start running, and next thing you know, we're coming through this Jayhawk tunnel. Fireworks are going off. Smoke's going off. We're like, what the hell's happening? As we enter the field. And, man, I just remember, like, screaming and, like, so more excited than I've ever been for a football game, just off of those few little things, man. Like I'm like it was set up so perfectly, man, for that to happen. But yeah, just an awesome experience, man. I still run into some Missouri guys from time to time. They're like, man, you know that was bullshit, right? I'm like, hey, bro, could have let us go to the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, right. You could have let us see if we could handle OU.
Yeah, they wouldn't have though. But I will tell you guys, in my time in Kansas, I lost to you guys once.
Yep.
I do remember that. And we lead the all-time series.
As I say, I'll tell you this: I'm surprised you lost to us at all, because you guys actually came up against some of our. We had some really bad years. The years we were playing y'all, there was a few games where, like, trust me, we considered ourselves lucky to even give y'all a run.
It was, I'll never forget it, man. My last year, we played at Iowa State. Love you guys' field, by the way. Back then, Crash, you know me, you talked about it. Absolutely phenomenal. Love it. Dude, I loved playing Iowa State, man. Like, for me, it was like a tough guy measuring stick is what I would call it.
Well, that was before we had both ends closed in, so you guys, it was essentially a wind tunnel.
Yeah, you guys, still to this day, I would say you guys had the toughest damn kickoff coverage team I've ever encountered in my entire life. I remember we went down there, man. Marcus Herford, the year before, won Special Teams Player of the Year, the Orange Bowl year, and he had like 3 or 4 kickoff returns for touchdowns. Like, we were top 3 in kickoff returns and all that stuff. So I remember going down at Iowa State, dude. Man, I was in the wedge back then when the wedge was still up. Dude.
Yep.
Man, you guys had those dudes coming down there in those freaking neck rollers and shit.
Those were those good old corn-fed Iowa boys that weren't going to be starting on offense. They wouldn't be starting on offense or defense, so we just put them on the kickoff team.
Well, guess what? Guess what, man? Those dudes were handing us our ass, because I remember that game, the average starting field position was like the 18. Dude. Mm-hmm. I was literally looking at the kick returner like, bro, just let it go into the end zone, bro. Like, these dudes, I mean, you could hear them. They just be yelling. And the way, I mean, dude, and like not be like pushing out, man, and letting go of your buddy's hand in the wedge. Like, there's only 4 of us in the wedge. Freaking, they sent 6 at the wedge.
You got 5 or 6 wedge busters coming at you, and you just got you and 3 of your buddies next to you.
Dude, every time, bro, we be in the bottom of the pile, and they're like, fuck yeah, bro. Fuck it.
And then you guys stand up and bust off like a 60-yard run on them.
And, like, I'm going to the sideline with my neck, like, oh, my gosh, man. I'm like, bro, I don't know how much more of this I can take. And, I mean, just, oh, my gosh. That team football, I can never forget that. You guys had some horses on that freaking kickoff team, man. I mean, I've been watching them on film, like, come on, man. Fair catch.
Those were some interesting years at Iowa State, man, because those were some teams that we had some talent. But it was like 2009, I think we finished like 7-6. 2008. You were there, what, 2007 to 2009, I believe?
My last year was 2010, because 2010. I actually had a medical red shirt at Kansas. So I redshirted medical. It's crazy. Like, my first 2 years, I honestly thought I was never going to play. My freshman year, so I was actually supposed to play my freshman year. Freaking dislocated elbow. Terrible.
Had a run of terrible luck, huh?
Just terrible. And then my
dislocated elbow is a nasty injury too. I've seen that twice.
You seen what happened to Jaden Daniels?
I had some friends text me that day and said, "Don't look at dude." And like, I'm not gonna go into a rabbit hole here, but like,
no.
In high school wrestling, a guy right next to me got his arm chopped, and he's sat up, and his arm's going the wrong way, and like, you just want to throw up.
Dude,
you're a tough son of a bitch, Angus. That is for damn sure, man.
Frankenstein, man. That's how I felt. Felt like Frankenstein. I told everybody, I said, man, I just needed some luck, man, because those first 2 years are. Yeah. I was like, dude, college is rough, man. I was like, what else is in store? Shoot.
For one, thank you for sharing that, man. That's a painful journey. It's an awesome yet painful journey to have to go down.
Man,
you're one hell of a man. That's for damn sure. So changing the tide really quick to this year, coming up on this weekend, you got Iowa State and KU. Now, both teams, and you and I have had some discussions, both teams had glimmers of hope for the year at points. I think at the beginning of the season, each team had an outlook that was a lot brighter than probably where each team is now.
Yeah.
Iowa State started out 5-0, went on a 4-game skid.
Yeah.
Brett and myself were just down in Fort Worth, fully expecting, the
PTCU?
Cyclones to, we were expecting the Cyclones to just get there. You know what's knocked in the dirt by Hoover and McAllister and that passing game that TCU has, and somehow they pulled out a win. KU.
TCU's so inconsistent, man. That guy, I mean, I don't know what they got going on because they got a stud at receiver. I mean, that dude's a stud.
McAllister is they got two. They got two of them, Dwyer and McAllister.
Yeah, those dudes are absolute studs, man. So I don't understand what they've got going on there.
And then KU, going back to the episodes that we have on the show here for this season, one thing I've said about y'all's offense is you have one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12, depending on the game.
Yeah, when he's on, when he's engaged and not speeding himself up and hitting those long balls like we talked about. Love the kid, know him personally. He's also a frat brother, man. So I know the kid, talked to the kid. Great kid, man. Great. Oh, he could have left and went and played a lot of places. And that's what I talked to KU fans about when they're ripping his ass and going in and bench him and put him in. I said, dude, we don't, I have respect for loyalty. I said, because that kid, I mean, the last 2 years, we could have went and played it. Could have went and played a lot of places, man. Had a lot more success. And hell, the offensive coordinator went to Penn State. So, there's lots of places he could have literally played. So for him to stay here, not to mention, could have went and made a hell of a lot more NIL money somewhere else.
Well, yeah, after his freshman, sophomore year, whichever year was his coming out party, he shows up at Big 12 Media Days the next year.
He's the man.
He's literally wearing a highlight reel on his necklace, right?
He was projected the offensive player of the year and all, Heisman talk. So yeah, and then he ended up having that back injury. And I tell people, I said, y'all don't understand how much money that kid could have went and made.
Yeah,
that kid could have definitely left Kansas and been set for quite some time, whether he has football or not. Said that kid could have took his talent to Oklahoma State, could have went right within conference. He could have really, 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 really hurt some feelings. Hell, he could have went down the road.
Could you imagine if Oklahoma State had him at quarterback with Ollie Gordon in the backfield?
That's my point. I told people, I said, y'all not thinking that this kid could have been gone. And went and had you want to talk about a hell of a season. Him and Ollie.
Oh, that would have been unbeatable in 12.
It would have might have saved Gundy's job. But yeah, man.
Shit, right.
But in general, man, talking about the seasons, man, a lot of people are pissed at, Lipo, love the guy. Guy does a lot of great work, man. He's another guy. Kansas fans need to shut the hell up talking about he's went as far as he can go. Maybe let's try somebody else. Hey, dude, let's not get too big for britches here.
Dude, 2 years ago they were talking about how he was the best thing that ever happened to him.
The thing is, this is the thing. People still want him to run their programs. So let's shut the hell up before we get another Charlie Weiss, and then we're back in the dumpster for less miles and all that bullshit, and back in the dumpster for the next 15 years or eternity. Hey, man, pump the brakes. Can the guy make some more? Can he become a little more risky? Yes. People want to see him take more chances, especially when your defense hasn't stopped anybody. We can go to the Missouri game. It's 4th and 1. You get the first down, clock runs out. First half, you also have a chance to score. You decided to punt. They get a 60-yard punt return, 2 plays or whatever it is. They're in good field goal range. Instead of having a 10-point lead, they end up scoring on 4th down. It just didn't work out for you. And now your crowd's back in and you got control of that game because I believe it was 17-3 or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Either way, we were up. We had a good lead. So even last game, we have that lead at Arizona. I'm expecting to win this. 4th and 2, I believe, on the 42 on our side of the field.
That Arizona game, y'all had Arizona all but down to the count.
That's why people are upset, and that's what I want to see, more risk taking, because Kansas team this year is not as talented as the team last year, and no one expects it to be. No team replaces a third-round running back, all 4 of your receivers, your linemen starting at San Francisco. Pooney never even gave up a sack in his career. I mean, come on, bro. Like, you don't replace. Yeah. Let's be realistic. You don't replace those guys. Another one of the linemen that was there.
Iowa State's learning that lesson this year as well.
Yes, because one of the linemen, Adams, he left. You can't even be mad at him. You know where he's at now? Starts at guard for Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. They're doing okay.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Oh, and you got to imagine he's got NIL and all that stuff. And it's just like at this point, it's like, okay, let's take a little more risk to go win the game versus not lose the game and still end up losing the game. It's happened like 5 times this season because Arizona 4th and 2. We're on hour 40. We need to go for this, man. We get this, it's ball game. And if you win that, it's bowl eligibility. That's what we're playing for this weekend. Playing you guys for bowl eligibility. We lose, we're 5 and 7. I mean, it is what it is, 5 and 7. So that's what people are mad about. Like, even you see it from some of the players, like, they want that risk. And that's never been his like coaching style. This is like really like, not even talking about this week, just in general. Like having a bowl game, no matter if it's the freaking toilet bowl, the ability to have all those extra practices and develop talent and see talent and just more practices. Like, you can never practice enough. So that also brings in the recruits and all those things that you get just by going to a freaking bowl game, any bowl game. Also, you fan morale and all that good. You need it. So you would think.
Let's get out of Kansas in December or January, please.
Please. Yeah. Anywhere. Like,
don't send me to Memphis.
Yeah, bro. But that's where they went. But look, that's where they went. That's where they went. The last bowl game was Tennessee.
Well, it's either you guys or us. We always end up in Memphis, or you guys do.
It could be worse. It could be like Boise.
It's funny you say that because that's literally what happens. So, the other place I don't want to play like pro. Do not send me to freaking New York to play football.
No.
Like,
no.
I saw that bowl game. That weather was miserable. It was like
the one Nebraska played in Fenway, I think. I can't remember.
It was terrible. I remember it was like 22 degrees. Or bro, cancel that bowl game. That's not what they're for.
They sent us there. They sent us there. We had to play Rutgers. It's like we've gone to Boise. We've played Boise State. We've gone to Memphis twice and played Memphis.
My God.
We've gone to New York. We've played Rutgers.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, they always in those places. They always keep the hometown team home. But yeah, man, like just finishing, man, like too many games, like, just too many games. Even that Cincinnati game, man, we've got them down at home. We're up. We've got them. It's 4th and whatever. It's 4th and like 8. Yeah, we drop an interception. Very next play, touchdown. So Arizona comes up. You punt the ball away with like a minute left, and they end up scoring like a touchdown with like 20-something seconds left in the game. Like, dude, just go, man. That's the frustrating part, And like you said, you've seen him. When he's on, he's on.
He is.
It's not like he's got a stud receiver. Get Emmanuel Henderson from Alabama, and the other kid, I think it's Perkins or something like that, possession receiver. So it's just about finishing and playing, and I watched Iowa State. Like you said, it's a roller coaster, and I don't really know why it's a roller coaster. It's just like some games people are on and some games they're not. Like, I believe in the Big 12, the most inconsistent teams right now, to me, from what I've seen, that have really good talent, that have talent to be doing better. Iowa State, Kansas State. What Kansas State showed playing Kansas in the rivalry game, they look like a damn good football team.
They got the ability.
The very next week, they go get their head beat in by whoever it was that they shouldn't have lost to. And I'm like, I just don't get it.
Texas Tech?
No. Texas Tech just went down there like 2 weeks ago. So it was somebody else they should not have lost to. So, but yeah, they end up losing by like 3 scores. I'm like, what? Like, I just saw the number one. You look like the number one team in the nation last week, throwing the ball and then just, I don't know. So all 3 of us are super inconsistent. I'd say we're the most inconsistent of all. I've never seen DBs drop so many interceptions.
Oh man,
it's killing me. I don't understand. I'm not used to that. Like last year we had Kobe Bryant and the other guy. To see these guys now, I'm like, those 2 guys, Kobe Bryant. I can't remember the other guy's name. They like almost them to set the NCAA record for like at the
and y'all had, was it last year that you had Daniels was he there for the entire season? Or was last year the year that he split with? No, the year before that was the year he split with Bean, right?
Yeah, but last year I think what happened. I know he was still coming back from the back injury because he ended up having a back procedure this offseason.
Yeah, because y'all had a backup that played a few games, I know.
Yeah.
Or came in a few games. Well, I'll tell you this much. He did not miss against Iowa State in Arrowhead last year.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
Whoa, I was so pissed off after that game.
When he shows up, man, he just starts. He shows up, and when he doesn't, he doesn't. Like it is when I say it's been night and day, and and I feel for the kid, man. The hardest thing I think that really hurt him is him and that offensive coordinator were like the perfect marriage, and now the old coordinator went to Penn State, and Franklin got fired. So it's like he made 2 seasons, and him and Leipold had been together like 15 years. Mm-hmm. So it's like I just wish he would have. Stayed at Kansas because he is the engine, all those motions and shifts and all. The dude's brilliant, man. Andy Kolanecki, he's absolutely brilliant. You don't get a job at Penn State and not be brilliant.
No.
So yeah, they hired him. I mean, come on, Kansas couldn't pay him what Penn State paid him.
No, and that's one of the unfortunate circumstances in this day and age with schools that are in the Midwest, such as ours. The KUs, the K-States, and KU does. I mean, I will say KU financially does pretty well comparatively to some of the other schools in the Big 12.
Yeah, when you've got David Booth giving $300 million,
yeah,
doing all right.
100%.
And you see where that's coming. No one's really paying attention, but you see where that's coming to the surface real fast in the basketball program because they're assigned.
Yes. Nope, and that's and KU's. Speaking of basketball, KU started out with some tough games.
Oh, they've got more. And I actually like it because by the time they get to the Big 12, I mean it's going to be a freaking gauntlet. But yeah, they still got to play. They got UConn. They got some Michigan State. They got some
dude. Iowa State in the next 2 weeks alone has Creighton, St. John, and Purdue. So this is a tough question to ask any one of us three. What's your prediction for this weekend, Angus?
Man, listen, I don't bet. So I have to go. Everything on the line. I gotta have hope in my guys, man.
Sure.
Like you guys, I'm gonna be super optimistic and say 28-21.
Okay.
Kansas.
That's I would say that's a very humble prediction, to be honest. Because that's what
I'm just gonna hope that he understands like this is it. Your quarterback's still a little young. What year is your quarterback?
Rocco, he's a junior, but he has another year of eligibility left.
I'm just hoping that Kansas had this bye week, man, and he doesn't understand. But man, this is it, dude. I mean, you got a lot on the line, and I'm not even just talking about bowl game for Kansas. Dude, we're talking about your professional career. You went from a Heisman hopeful to possible Big 12 player, the offensive player of the year. So, I mean, you're talking undrafted
legacy stakes here.
You're talking about undrafted, never reach your dream type of season here. So for me, I'm hoping that this guy is able to dig in the bag, take that, lock in, man, and lead the troops. Get one more game with the guys, man. Help Kansas recruit. Bowl games always will help you recruit. They also bring obviously money to the school. So just go out on the high horse there. That's my hope. That's my prediction.
That's a good one.
Eat crow on that, but
there's no eating crow in this prediction.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for him, man. I really, because like I said, I know him personally and talked on the phone, all that stuff, man. And great guy. I mean, no one says anything other than, man, this kid's awesome, man. Community service type guy, and he's giving the guys the shirt off his back, and he's got NIL and stuff, and he's known to take care of his linemen and take them out to eat. Just a good kid, man. So I would really like to see him ride off into the sunset on some, on a high note, because I'm in all these groups, and everyone can't wait to see the backup quarterback next year and all this. They've been running this kid in the dirt, man. So I feel like if he can play a clean game, don't give up. Do not, because a lot of his turnovers, and I hate this for him, a lot of the turnovers are in the red zone, and they're usually sack fumbles and all that stuff. So he, clean that up for him, because it ain't good enough to be, giving the ball away 3 times.
That's one of the crazy things about these two teams is how, if you look at their seasons, they're so comparable in the fact that not only from the hopes from the beginning of the season to where they are now aspect, but the red zone. Iowa State's one of the top teams as far as moving the ball to the red zone, and then one of the worst teams in college football
kicking field goals
in the red zone. Yeah, man.
Kicking field goals will get you beat. I mean, you can have 2 great drives. I can have none. You kick 2 field goals at 6. I have 1 great drive. I get 7, and I'm up.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And it hurts. It's not a good feeling. I don't know where we got this, kicker from the portal. I mean, our kicker is phenomenal. I don't think he's missed a kick in like 2 seasons. But he's getting too much work for me. Now we need to protect the ball, and we'll see what happens.
I can tell you that from this aspect, being very close and watching our Cyclones all year long. For one, we have a plethora of guys in the secondary that we're not planning on getting playing time this year that are definitely playing. But on top of it, our passing game, there's some things that are broken there.
Is it protection?
Some actually, no, I wouldn't put it on the line. There's some drops.
Gotcha.
There's some quarterback confidence issues, but I can tell you this much. One area that this team has struggled this year is any team we've played with a scrambling quarterback has struggled. Brendan Sorsby just tore us a new one. So therefore, when you look at
Cincinnati guy.
Yep. And then when you look at that, I mean, so anytime we have a scrambling quarter, I can tell you right now, there's not a lot of, amongst the Iowa State fan base, there's not a ton of confidence in this game. I think winning against TCU was kind of gambling on house money, and also thanks to Aiden Flora on an amazing freaking punt return at the end of the game. But Brett, before we close out, you had a question about a particular basketball football scenario that maybe only KU alum would know about.
Oh my God.
So I spent a little time in like the Kansas City area, and I brought this up to Nolan because I thought I heard about it. But Nolan's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure KU with their run up with their football team, it being a basketball team, their basketball players got a little jealous. And I heard there was a fight between the football team and the basketball team. You can say I cannot say anything.
Oh, no.
No, that's completely fake.
So 100% not fake. Definitely happened in broad daylight on campus in front of the Burge, actually not too far from Fog Island, the basketball arena there. So, long story short, it just wasn't, united situation is what I'll call it. There was some ladies involved that some football players had that some guys on the basketball team wanted and could not get. Long story short, one day, one of the football players goes to his girl's room, and basketball players are in there shooting their shot. But, football guys already got her, comes in, kind of gives them a nod, goes back to the back room with her, and these guys felt like kind of getting showed up. They come back pissed, knocking on the door. I mean, like they're going to jump the guy, and, he didn't open the door. So that's how it was already festering, but that kind of blew it out of proportion. So long story short, I mean, I can name 2 people that just had a podcast saying they would beat up the Jokic brother. But
boy, that's a bold statement.
Let's just say they were involved. They were they were the main instigators from the other side. So,
gotcha.
Long story short, the reason that makes us football players chuckle seeing the podcast is because there was a cornerback, he's about 5, about 180, that was giving work to one of the podcasters. Giving work. It's not a myth. It definitely happened. It was. Okay. Was it called for? No, but it was brought to our doorstep, and hey, you just put the trash out. But it was on ESPN because they were on campus. They ran a whole story about it and everything. But no, like I said, in today's time, of course, all over the news, man, everywhere. But yeah, man, no, man, we didn't have no real problems with those dudes, man. Like, still to this day, no problem with them guys, man. Say what's up. But yeah, that was just a bad idea, bad everything.
Maybe it stuck out to me because being in Kansas City, I saw a lot of KU basketball fans.
Oh, yeah.
But during football season, they were rocking their Kansas State gear, which they could not put that together. So
I mean, hell, I wouldn't live in Manhattan either.
I went to school there for a bit, and I agree.
My point exactly.
All right, fellas. Well, Angus, thanks for joining us, man. I know we went a little bit longer than we planned on. It was so awesome just hearing all of this and your insight and your story, man. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening and taking time away from the family.
No problem,
Really
man.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No
This
problem,
has been
man.
amazing.
Love talking ball. Love talking about the old Hawks and the old stories, man. It's fun, man. They're good memories, man. And I appreciate you guys having me on, man. And you know where to find me if you need.
For sure. Well, this weekend, obviously, you're going to think go Jayhawks. We'll say go Cyclones. We'll see which team wants to actually not screw up as much.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see what happens, man. Well, hey, one is one going.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you again. We'll talk to you later. All right.
All right, man. You have a good evening, man.
Well, that's a wrap for us here with the Loyal Sons. We really hope you enjoyed the show. That was one hell of a journey down memory lane from a great Orange Bowl season with Angus Quigley and, just his thoughts on the upcoming game this weekend. It's always great to be joined by a guy who played with some of the legends in college football and in the Big 12. Thank you again for joining us. We appreciate those of you that continue to follow us on all of our social media and continue to listen to our episodes. As we say at the end of every episode, have a cold bush light on us. Hawk fans, Husker fans, and Cyclone fans. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see if all three of our teams can pull out a win or if Angus is correct and Kansas squeaking one out in Ames. Again, have a great night and have a hell of a weekend. We'll catch you on the flip side.